What's up, guys? It's Jay Basketball back with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about top 10 players that I'm excited to see and watch next season. Next season starts in October of 2023. The worst part about next season is I'm not excited for the in-season tournament, but I'm going to give the in-season tournament a shot and see how it goes. And then maybe I'll give it a chance and I'll rate it after the in-season tournament ends. So there's going to be a lot of difference. Before we actually get into the top 10 players, I want to talk about a quick NBA changes for next season. Okay. First off, if you win the coach's challenge, you'll keep the challenge. And then once you do the coach's challenge and lose it, you cannot get it back. You only get one attempt at it. And then they're also going to get rid of flopping, which is going to be great. It's going to be fun to see how Patrick Beverley is going to deal without flopping, because if Patrick Beverley flops, he gets a technical. I wonder how Patrick Beverley will feel about not being able to flop like he's always been able to flop. But those are some of the changes for next season, which I'm excited to see how the rules are going to be looking and how it's going to work. The coach's challenge used to be where if you win the challenge or lose the challenge, you don't get another try at it. But this season, they're going to change it up. And if you win the challenge, you keep the challenge. And then once you use it again and you win again, unfortunately, it's going to have to go. But if the coach's challenge is overturned, they'll lose that challenge no matter what. On their first try and it's overturned, the point's gonna have to go too. So you only get one try at trying, or you only get one attempt at an overturned call. So once it's overturned, you lose your challenges. And you know what? I think you guys know what I mean. So let's get in. Also, I did forget to mention, make sure to click that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any more content. Also, give these videos a like. I'm trying my best to become the YouTuber that I want to be one day. So let's get started. Number one, I want to talk about Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is going to be number one. I'm excited to see how he's going to do next season, because this season he averaged 32.4 points per game. And he had amazing shooting. Like, he made everything. And I'm telling you, if you make everything, you get a high points per game. And I feel like he's got 32.4 points per game because he made a lot of his shots. The crazy part about last season, though, as his team did not make the playoffs, and I feel like it was a mistake putting Kyrie with him, and I feel like that's what made the team suck, because he came in and messed up Doncic's points. I'm not saying that he ruined Doncic's career, but I wonder if Luka Doncic will do better next season. This season he did all right, but I feel like he needs to put up at least 34 points per game. And you're probably saying, dude, I'm crazy for that. You're probably saying that I'm crazy for that, but I'm actually not. So I'm going to put Luka Doncic at number one. He is the best player for next season. And if this was an all-time top 10, I'd have to put Kobe Bryant in there. But this is not all-time. This is current for next season. But if I did do my top 10 all-time players, then Kobe's going to be number one, because Kobe Bryant, he's very good. But number two, we got to move on. And number two is Trae Young. Trae Young put up 26.2 points per game. He didn't do good enough to like Luka. He had a great season, though. He had a great season, but he didn't have a good enough points per game. Like, he wasn't even close to the 30s like Luka Doncic, and they were both in the same draft class. The fun thing about Trae Young this season is, I honestly don't know. I could say maybe his logo shots, but I didn't really see him shoot logo shots that much this season. Maybe he did, but I didn't watch his whole season highlights. But Trae Young did all right in the playoffs, and of course he had to force Game 5. But I think Trae Young needs to do better next season. I'm not saying he's a terrible guy like Luka Doncic. I'm just saying that I think he just needs to work more on his shooting to show that he's better than Luka Doncic. And Trae Young, he's a pretty good 3-point shooter like Steph Curry. There's no way he's the next Steph Curry. He's not this next Steph Curry. But he does have shooting like Steph Curry. But he's kind of like the newer Steph Curry. When he first came into the NBA, people were thinking like this is the next Steph Curry because he could shoot anywhere. So will he do that next season? I want to find out what he can do. And I feel like it was a good team, not good enough. And I thought Trae Young and DeJounte Murray were a great fit. They are a great fit. Trae Young noticed, we noticed about Trae Young is he passed the ball a lot to DeJounte Murray. And that's a fire duo, but not the all-time best duo like Shaq and Kobe. They're not good enough. Well, they are good enough, but they're not good enough to make a playoff contention or a contender. They're not a playoff contending team, you know? And Trae Young needs to play better basketball if he wants to make the playoffs and win a championship. And Buddy, I feel like that Hawks is not the team to win a championship with. And I feel like he needs to get traded one day. But we got to move on to number 3. And number 3 is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai was awesome in that play-in tournament. He exploded. He exploded enough to eliminate the Pelicans, but he wasn't good enough to eliminate the Timberwolves. But Shai did start off his career with the Los Angeles Clippers, and that kind of went all right. That was pretty much the last time I feel like he made the playoffs. No, he actually made the playoffs in 2022. But, not 2022, I mean, but he did make the playoffs in 2020, but it didn't go well. So Shai's never actually went to the second round ever in his career, but he exploded this season. He didn't explode good enough to make the playoffs, though, but he was able to get far into the play-in, which is good. At least they made it far. And I also forgot to mention, Shai put up 30.9 points per game, I believe. If I'm wrong, let me know. Sorry, I just lost concentration on how many points he had per game. But he was amazing. He had a lot of 30-point games. He had a 30-something against, I don't remember what teams exactly, but a couple of games he put up 30-something points, and that was amazing. That was amazing, and that made him good enough to become an all-star. Shai was making shots after clutch shots. We saw a couple of game winners from him. We saw one against the Blazers, and we saw one against the Wizards, where he just took that step back, launched the 3, and bam, it was over. He did hit a clutch shot against the Bucks to take the lead, but then a call was called, so that was not a game winner, but he did good in that game too. But the plan, he did all right, but I didn't think he did good enough to actually make the playoffs. It was a young contending team. They were bad. They took bad shot selections, and that's what caused them to lose. And Shai is killing it with Canada. Yesterday had 25 points. And I don't remember how many points he had the day before. But he is killing it with with Canada FIBA World. Next up, we have to talk about Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum put up 30.1 points per game this season. And that's not terrible. But I feel like he should have at least got 31 because Jason Tatum's good enough to make 31 points. Like, make more than that. But Jason Tatum is unbelievable. He's unstoppable. And it was a crazy series to see him versus Jimmy Butler. Of course, Jason Tatum couldn't stop Jimmy Butler like he did last year. When they won in Game 7, the Celtics. They went to Game 7 again this year, and Jason Tatum didn't do good in Game 7 because he sadly rolled his ankle. And people were saying that ankle injury cost them the series because of what happened in Game 7. I'd agree. If Jason Tatum never twisted that ankle, he would stop and he would put it on Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler wouldn't be able to stop him. But no, it was the opposite. Twist his ankle, and he cannot defend, and he cannot stop Jimmy Butler as Jimmy Butler took off. And you're probably shocked that I did not put Jimmy Butler on this list. But Jimmy Butler was very good this season too. But Jason Tatum made the finals. Last season, but he didn't do good enough because Steph Curry, of course. But hopefully Jason Tatum plays better next year if he wants to make another championship run and hopefully actually win one. His rookie year did amazing, but we didn't expect him to be that superstar until his second year, and he became a superstar. And I remember when he dunked on LeBron. He even dunked on Jason Tatum on Christmas night. It was crazy. He's a very good duo with Jaylen Brown. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are very good, phenomenal players. And I feel like they got it in the bag next season. But I want to move on to number 5 and Cade Cunningham. Now you're probably wondering, why am I mentioning Cade Cunningham? Well, it's for next season. I know I don't have how many points he had per game last season, but I had to put him on this list because he is fully healed up and is ready to go for next season. Cade Cunningham is going to blow up, and I feel like he's going to put up 28.3 points per game. He's not going to be having that explosive of a game yet until he could actually improve and show the Pistons what it's like. He's going to play with Jaden Ivey and a new rookie in Ausar Thompson. I'm excited to see how that trio is going to work. I wonder if that's going to be a good trio, if it's going to be a bad idea, like a bad trio. But we're going to have to see how that's going to go. We did see Cade and Ivy play on the same team together, but we only got to see that for a bit before Cade decided to undergo surgery and miss the rest of the season. So Pistons fans were bummed out. I was bummed out too. When I first heard that that Cade was going to be out for the season, I was like, no, what? I was shocked to see him out for the season. So hopefully he does better next season. Next up is Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton had 20.7 points per game with the Indiana Pacers. I thought that he had more points per game. I thought that he would have at least had 26 points per game like Trae Young. But no, he had 20. Now, I'm not saying 20 is horrible because he did make an all-star team. And he had a great season with Indiana last season. And I feel like he could do it again next season. So I'm excited to see what Tyrese Halliburton can do with the Pacers next season. And he was never this good with the Kings. So I think making this trade was a good idea. Because if this trade never happened, maybe he wouldn't be the player we expect to see him like right now, how he is right now. So I got to put him on this list because I'm excited to see what he's going to do next season for the Indiana Pacers. So we're going to have to see how that's going to work next season. Is he going to do better? Is his team actually going to make the playoffs? Next up is Stephen Curry, my favorite player in the NBA. Well, not in the entire NBA. But he put up 29.4 points per game. He did good this season, but the team did not do good. Curry was injured some of the times, and that's kind of what made the Warriors why they were terrible. The Warriors are my favorite team, and I was just not happy with them because they just didn't do good like they did before. And it's just weird to see a championship contending team become the 6th seed. They were still able to make the playoffs, but they didn't do good against LeBron. But Curry did do good in that series, though. I don't even know how many points per game he had against the Lakers, but I just know that he exploded this season. He had great, crazy shots. He had a half court against the Boston Celtics. But unfortunately, in the playoffs, Curry couldn't stop LeBron. But you know what Curry was able to do in Game 7 against the Kings? He took over. They were losing, and then Curry stepped it up in that second half and dropped 50 points, which is amazing for Steph Curry. I'm so happy. Next up is Nikola Jokic. He wins his first championship. Congrats to Nikola Jokic. I actually watched that series. I wanted the Heat to win because I want to see if an 8th seed team can actually win a championship. They couldn't do it, but unfortunately, Jokic won it. I'm not saying unfortunately in a bad way. I'm saying it a good way. Jokic had 24.5 points per game and killed it in the playoffs. Killed it. He had a great playoff run, putting up, I don't know. But Jokic had an amazing finals experience. He did good in the first round, the second round, and he, of course, did good against the Lakers. And he was not going to let LeBron win his 5th ring. Jokic said no, swoop it away, and let it be him. He wanted to win that, not LeBron. He said he wanted it to be him, not LeBron. He's like, I need to win this championship. Sorry, LeBron. I accidentally called him Rabon. But he's like, sorry, LeBron. You're not going to win your 5th ring. Like I said. So, not next up. He did good alongside Jamal Murray, who's actually our honorable mention. Sorry for the difficulty there. Made a mistake for a sec. But Jamal Murray had 20.0 points per game. And he did good with Nikola Jokic. Murray took over in that series against the Lakers, and he even took over in the finals. Had very great games in the finals, and he deserved it. He deserved to win. He made every shot, made it difficult for Butler, made it difficult for Adebayo, and Jokic and Murray were just unstoppable. Like, the Heat couldn't do anything to stop him. But we got to move on to number 9, actually. And number 9 is from Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo, I like to call him Kumpo for some reason. But Kumpo had 31.1 points per game, but he did awful against the Miami Heat. He did terrible. He wasn't even himself out there. It felt like he was nobody. It felt like he was a boring Andrew Bogut. Like, he didn't do anything. And I'm telling you, when Bogut used to be in the league, Bogut didn't do anything. And that's kind of what Giannis felt like out there. Giannis didn't do anything. And I feel like it was because of that tailbone injury. And that kind of made the series tough. But how are you going to let an 8th seed take down your guys' 1st seed team? That is ridiculous. Very, very ridiculous. To be the worst player when you're actually the good player. So, hopefully Giannis does better next season and actually makes it past the first round. I mean, he's always made it past the first round, so that was their ever first time that they actually got spanked in that first round. But Giannis wasn't his championship self out there in that first round, so he needs to do better next season. And number 10 is Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is number 10 because he is getting pretty old. And he is not young anymore. He's not good enough like he used to be. But he did put up 32.2 points per game, which isn't bad. But I feel like he had to be the last one because Damian Lillard is just getting old. He's not young. He's not that player anymore. And everyone's just not talking about him anymore. Like, they're like they don't mention him anymore. They mostly mention the people that are coming into the league. Like, everyone has attention for Ja Morant, Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic, and those guys, because they're young. They're young, but Lillard's not young like he used to be. And when he was young, he was very good, and everyone was just talking about this guy. He's like, Damian Lillard is taking over. Damian Lillard, oh my goodness. Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard was the best in 2019. But now that he's old, people don't talk about him anymore that much. The only time they finally talked about him again was when he wanted to declare, or did not want to declare, when he wanted to request a trade to the Miami Heat. And Damian Lillard said that was the only team he would ever play with. He says he doesn't want to play alongside Scoot Henderson, and he thinks that's a terrible idea. Who knows? Is Damian Lillard going to stay on the Blazers and actually play a season with Scoot? Or is he going to stay on the team and not play at all? Just like Ben Simmons. Who remembers when Ben Simmons wanted to leave the Nets, but the Sixers wanted to keep him? And he was like, you know what? Since they're going to keep me and I don't want to be here, I'm just not going to play at all. So who knows? Maybe Damian Lillard will stay, but he will not play a game until he's traded. Ben Simmons didn't play until he was traded. What if Damian Lillard does the exact same thing where he's going to stay on the Blazers because the Blazers want to keep him, but on the inside, he doesn't want to stay there, and he's just going to stay on the bench and tell coach, hey, don't give me any minutes. Who knows what Damian Lillard will do next season. Will he actually get traded? I don't think he will, but I really want him to get traded because I want to see how that's going to work. That would be cool for him to go to the Miami Heat, but there's a situation between him not. Like, teams don't want him to go. Well, the Blazers don't want him to go there, but Lillard just wants to go. But the Blazers are not going to accept Tyler Hero. So that's why there's a reason because of this. And there's just a difficulty. But we do got to mention 2 honorable mentions. First off, I want to talk about Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell had 28.3 points per game. And one of those games, Donovan Mitchell put up 71. If he made a couple of more threes, he would tie Kobe. That would be cool, though, because speaking of Damian Lillard, like we mentioned at number 10, he actually dropped 71 points as well. So both of them could have passed Kobe, but they ended up dropping to 70, which was close enough to pass Kobe. Donovan Mitchell had a great season, like I said, with great dunks, great shooting, but not great shooting against the Knicks. He wasn't good enough to beat the Knicks, but he still has a long time before he can actually win championships and just have success. Donovan Mitchell had very good handles. We saw him drop Jeremy Sohan this season, which was cool, which he's teaching him. Welcome to the league, which is what he taught Sohan. But Donovan Mitchell and him playing against Jalen Brunson was a great matchup, but Donovan Mitchell wasn't good enough to get past the second round. But hopefully he'll actually win one day, because with the Jazz, he wanted to get out of here because he couldn't do well with them. Couldn't even at least advance to the conference finals. But Donovan Mitchell is going to have a blast with the Cleveland Cavaliers next season. They're going to make the playoffs again, and they're going to storm off. And last but not least, we got to talk about Joel Embiid, a.k.a. JoJo. Joel Embiid had 33.1 points per game, but we just heard the news that he might be done with the Sixers. He says he wants to win a championship, and the Sixers is not the team you want to stay with if you want to win a championship. Joel Embiid and James Harden was a good duo, but it was a failed duo. It wasn't a good duo. And I feel like James Harden and Embiid are not going to work together to win a championship. They both want to win championships, but you need to go to a different team if you want to do that. So, how good will Joel Embiid be next season? Is he going to stay with the Sixers, or is he going to get traded to a better team like the Knicks, the Lakers? I don't know. We'll have to find out where Damian Lillard actually wants to go to win a championship. But that's going to do it for today's video. Those were the top 10 best players I think are going to do good next season. And then we had a couple of honorable mentions. We had Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, and Joel Embiid as honorable mentions in today's video. If you did enjoy it, smash that like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel algorithm, so it helps our algorithm get better and better, so we can become the YouTuber I want to be one. So make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, and comment down below who you think is going to do good next season. But anyways, I'm Jay Basketball, and I'm out. Peace.